grab the fuel nozzle and get ready to fuel up on trends and strategies to grow your travel center business in this episode of the Truck Stops Here, brought to you by NATSO. Now, here are your hosts, Amy Toner and Darren Schulte.
Hello, welcome to today's episode of the Truck Stops Here. I'm your host, Amy Toner, and I'm here with my co-host, Darren.
Hi, Amy.
Hi there. You're listening to the Truck Stops Here, NATSO's podcast. Today, we have the distinct pleasure of interviewing Dale Elks. He's the general manager of Oasis Travel Center in Robertsdale, Alabama. Luckily for us, Gordon Price with DAS Distributors reached out and said we had to have you on the show. So welcome, Dale.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Great to have you. So, Dale, one thing we're continuing to stress with our members is that specifically at retail locations, and that includes, of course, our truck stops, that they need to be experiential. Right. And they need to be focusing on things that are a little bit different than others are doing. And it sounds like you have experiential items in Spades. So I'm not joking about that, especially that, I visited your store and the pictures that I've seen. Can you kind of paint a picture for us of all the unique items that you have?
Well, we decided to go the whole route of everything's a travel theme. So we have, when you walk into the truck stop, you walk through a 1970s Volkswagen bus that looks like it crashed out of the front of the building. When you enter the building, there's a sunken pirate ship, which is the front of the house, which is where our customers pay for gas. We have a Amish covered wagon that's in our Western room. We have a school bus inside of the Derail Diner, which is how you get into the kitchen. And of course, with the Derail Diner, we have 3 train cars that have crashed into the building, and one of them's actually part of the dining room in the restaurant. Then you get to the back of the house where the fuel desk is, and it's a 1950 International Harvester. And then we have a box trailer that's actually the counter for where you pay for your fuel at.
That sounds fantastic.
So did you add all those things at once, or did you add them over time?
They were done in phases over time. 3 years ago, we added the 1950 International Harvester. 10 years ago, we added the pirate ship. 3 years ago, we added the Volkswagen entrance, and the Derail Diner was done 10 years ago. So,
which one is your favorite?
It's hard to pick. I love the Derail Diner because, we're still the individual mom and pop restaurant. It's our concept. So we have, full control of the menu. We still do everything from scratch, like a old fashioned truck stop restaurant.
Okay. I heard you have a really cool Polar Express event. Can you tell us about it?
We do. The first 2 weekends in December, we give back to the community. We hire an actor that pretty much looks just like Tom Hanks in the movie, which is really neat. So with the train car that we have in the Derail Diner, we give all the kids a golden ticket. We walk them around outside around the train. They board the train. The conductor punches their ticket just like they do in the movie. We have actors that act out parts of the movie. We have a guy that does the cartwheels down the center of the aisle just like they do when they're doing the hot chocolate dance. And we show parts of the movie. We interact with the kids. We get them to sing Christmas carols and ask them what they want for Christmas. Once that's over, we give them a Santa sleigh bell for a memento that they can hang on their Christmas tree. Part of the thing that we were talking about with Gordon Price is DAS always comes down every year for the first night, and they bring lots of toys to give to the kids that when they get off the train. So after they get their toys, they get hot chocolate and cookies that we give to them. And we do free pictures with Santa Claus that we post to our Facebook page. So, it saves the people in the community the price of paying a sitting fee or having to buy packages. They can print out as many pictures as they want to, or 2 or 3 if they only want to.
That's absolutely fantastic.
We need to go next year.
We do.
Yeah. So do you do it for 2 weeks every day?
No, we do it for 2 weeks on the weekends.
On the weekends, okay. And is it?
It's a little hard during the week because of school and church and people working and trying to get back and forth. So,
is it mostly local people who go to it?
We have people coming from Pensacola, Mobile. We have people that are driving almost an hour to come to the event because it is free. Yeah. We don't charge anything for the event. We do ask for a canned good that we give to a local food pantry to help them out with needs for other people in the community that need that. So,
is it usually hot outside? Is it snowy or hot?
It's warm.
It's warm.
It's warm.
Okay.
It's South Alabama. Friday night it was 75.
That sounds like so much fun. I bet people are just so excited to be there.
Yeah, it's a lot of all the kids dressed in pajamas.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so great.
So it really plays to the movie a lot, and most of the age group that we get is between 3 and 10 or 11 years old.
You know,
It's just really fun to look at the look on the kids' faces when they get to experience that.
Right.
You know, one of the things I always love about your store is just how focused on, you know, the experience of your customers. It, you know, when, as you referenced, when you walk in, but every little detail, you know, like the toy within store toy concept that you have, the products you carry, it's all about an experience. And it's something, as you know, we've been talking about to other members for years now. And your operation, Dale, and particularly you, the way you run it, really nails all of those types of things. I mean, it's a very competitive market out there. You're faced with a lot of giant organizations, especially new folks that are getting into the business. And you're just a perfect example of what, you know, truck stops, when they're managed and led properly like yours is, can do in this industry. And the stuff that you do for the community and for the kids is fantastic. So while I gave you all those glowing compliments, what are you most proud about your truck stop? What's the one thing that you're most proud about?
That we're a family business, and we really truly are family. Turnover is relatively very low. I've got a lot of long-term team members that have been with me for 10 plus years that, you know, just love coming to work every day and striving to make it a great customer experience every time a customer comes in the door.
Is there something you make sure to do every day?
Oh, every day, every shift, I walk around and say hello to every one of my employees, every one of them. I'm only as good as the weakest employee that I have or the newest team member that I have. So, you know, that's important to me. We're in the people business, and people's what makes it go. You can have a big elaborate truck stop and have all the newest gadgets and toys, but if you don't have the staff that really take care of your customers and care about your place, you don't have a business.
Again, that's fantastic. So, Dale, do you kind of have a list in your mind of, you know, if you were to, you know, be put in charge of another truck stop, or, you know, you guys built another one? Are there kind of like 5 things every leader, every truck stop operator should be doing at a location every day? You mentioned number one, obviously walking around and saying hello to staff, but is there kind of like a mental list, or do you happen to have a checklist of things that you do every day, no matter what, whether it's raining, snowing, or whatever's happening there in Alabama, that you do every single day?
Check the facility all over. I drive the lot as soon as I pull up to make sure we look good. Everything's clean, everything's fresh. Walk the facility and make sure there's nothing on the floor. We're stocked. Deliveries are coming in like they're supposed to. We're keeping, number one, the restrooms are absolutely spotless. That's a big, huge deal, looking at that and making sure everybody's sharp, everybody's smiling, and everybody has great guest interaction. That's mandatory every day.
It sounds like you, it doesn't sound like, I know since I've been at your store, you do the ordinary things extraordinarily well. And I think, again, those are keys to long-term success.
What are you planning for the future? What's next?
We're actually we bought 25 acres behind the truck stop, and we're looking to put in an RV park. We're getting ready to build a laundromat on site. We have a pretty large facility, so it affords us the opportunity to do things like that'll really help drive profitability and make it a more welcome place to come to.
Are you going to have like those RV pumps, or, you know what I'm talking about, Darren?
Like the dump station, you mean?
No, the pumps that make it easier for RVs to fill up.
Oh, yeah. So she's speaking about, have you given any consideration about having a separate kind of like fueling area for RVs? Something that, you know, if you remember the old Flying J's used to have, where they'd have 1 or 2 gas bays and diesel bays separated from the main canopies for RVs to come in there and fuel and so forth.
I haven't looked at that yet, but that's a good idea to look at. We get quite a few RVs now. In our area, there are actually 8 RV parks around the truck stop. So we've gotten into the grocery business lately of fresh meat and fresh produce to help supply those RVers that, don't want to drive 30 minutes into town from where we are to get grocery staple items. So that's turned out very well for us too.
Excellent. We're seeing, it's interesting you referenced that. We're seeing more and more of our members really start to dial into, really truly who is their customer. As you know, you and I have been around a long time, and essentially, we put diesel pumps up in the back and expect we've got diesel customers and car customers. But more operators like yourself are really dialing into who is that customer that's walking through the door, who is he and she. Quick question for you. Are there some things that you're currently doing that you won't be doing in the future? Things that you've identified that aren't working for you, or maybe because of competition changes you're going to stop doing?
Well, we had a man cave area that's, sales have kind of gone down a little bit, and we're bringing back some old retro truck stop. We're actually getting ready to put in a game room within the next 2 weeks. So that kind of brings that whole 70s, 80s persona back of, you go hang out in the truck stop and you can do some driving machines and some cranes and play some air hockey and just kind of have a little unwind time that's a little down. And we're trying to do things that you can't do on your cell phone, because most people are always on their cell phone and they're playing games. So we're trying to create that extra interactive area inside the truck stop that you don't see anymore.
I think that's a great idea. You certainly, with the comfort and the safety of a truck, the driver, he or she can get everything on their tablet, as you referenced, or their phone. And I think that the future travel centers, if you want to get them inside your store, you've got to make it, there has to be a reason for them to come in their store, because they can order everything out of their trucks, their products, their food. They can get stuff delivered to them in their trucks. So I think that's a great idea that you're working on, trying to figure out ways to get them out of the truck and into the stores.
Yeah, that's the only way you're going to get them in there, is get something that's enticing that wants to make them come inside. So
right. So from your experience also driving up and down the roads, so what are you seeing as far as competition out there? What are some of the things that is, let's call it keeping you up late at night? Either changes to the industry, whether it be mile per gallon improvements on trucks, or whether it be competition. What are some of the things that you're starting to see up and down the interstate as you travel that are keeping you up at night as an operator?
Well, it's a lot of competition. I had a Buc-ee's open 4 miles down the road for me, and that's a huge, big competition factor of the draw. It's almost kind of like going to Disneyland gas station of America. It's huge. They have 120 pumps. So we strive to make ourselves different and strive to make our customer service a lot better than theirs can possibly be. Everybody enjoys the Norm syndrome from the days of Cheers. So we really try very hard to get to know our customers that come in all the time, learn their names and call them by names when they come in. And that's what really helps make you different than the big box stores. But, my wife hates traveling with me, because when I travel, I stop at every truck stop. Every one of them. And I look to see what they do better than we do. And it's really funny. And I'll find if I see something that just really wows me, well, I ask for the manager. And they're always willing to share what they do and how they do it. And, we'll come back, and I encourage all my managers to do the same thing. And everybody will stop and hey, I stopped at this great place and they were doing this. And we're like, okay, well, let's figure out how that'll fit our operation and see if that'll help us. It doesn't hurt to try anything. If you're always sitting stagnant, you're never going to get any better. You're never going to build any more sales or make it a better experience for your guests. So when you find something that's a wow factor, I always try to bring it back to the truck stop and, hey, let's see what we can implement and see if we can make it better than what they were doing and make it fit our model better.
I love what you mentioned about the sharing. One of the most beautiful things about our industry is the fact that we are not a giant industry, as you know, and we're very much like a family. Everyone likes to share information, and that's one of the most beautiful things. I can certainly tell you, as people enter this market from other outside the industry or maybe sister industry like the convenience stores, everyone's shocked how open and friendly and willing to share ideas that our members do. It's absolutely quite beautiful that you reference that.
It's just wonderful to see on a daily basis when I travel that everybody's always so willing to share that, and it helps make the industry stronger, make the industry better. Because, we look at I'm part of a co-op at Ambest, and we're all independent owners. So, we're competing with the big box stores every day. So we're always constantly trying to share ideas with each other and what we can do to make sure we keep a nice stronghold in the industry.
That's a great point. Great point. So I've got a couple small other very quick questions for you. So if you were building a new travel center, what would be the one thing that you would make sure that travel center does?
Looking and going to NATSO and NACS and Ambest and hearing a lot of great ideas, I'd put a drive-through in that makes it easier for the customer that would be centrally located. You'd almost have to design the truck stop or travel center around it to make sure you're very efficient with it. But I think that's a huge captive audience that you can get nowadays, because people are in so much of a hurry that you could pull through the drive-through and get just about everything that you want through the drive-through and never have to get out of your car.
Interesting. Would you, excuse me, would you ever consider a truck stop drive-through?
Yes.
What I mean by that, forgive me, a truck drive-through.
Yeah, that would be great. And we can almost start doing that on the fuel aisles now, developing an app now that we could possibly do that with as their fuel. And if they want Subway, Chester's Fried Chicken, something out of the diner, or they want a gallon of milk, a gallon of water, whatever, to where we can develop that, where we can bring it out and we know their own fuel aisle too, and bring it out and take care of them then at that point and spot, because you end up generating more revenue for inside sales if you can do that type of thing.
We saw that, didn't we?
We've never seen a truck stop drive-through. Okay. We have seen, Amy and I've seen truck stops where they've connected the CAT scale to the actual truck stop, and so the truck pulls up to the travel center, and they have an elevated fuel desk, and they can offer them food and sandwiches out of that, after they get their CAT scale, which we thought. But I've always wondered, especially in this day and age with the ELDs, why folks haven't considered potentially, doing some sort of drive-through concept, because we do it for cars all the time, and we have hundreds of trucks leaving our lots, if we have a big parking space. So I always thought there might be an opportunity, for that. So great to hear that you're working on getting products out to them at the fuel pumps. That's fantastic. We've got some members out there that are doing some things like that, like bringing a tablet out there, but no one has really, at least that I'm aware of, created an app and allowing them to order while they're out there. And I think that's fantastic. Fantastic idea. So my second question to you is, you kind of referenced a little bit this with the ELDs and the way that they're impacting the business. So with your news truck stop, so you have a truck stop that had a drive-through for cars, and then now a truck stop that had a potentially drive-through for trucks. How are you thinking that the modern truck stop needs to, for lack of better words, combat the impact of what ELDs are doing to the drivers? They're so in a rush. Often they don't come inside like they used to. What are some of the things you guys are doing, or you've thought about to maybe impact that, change it? Besides what you reference on the app, are there other things you might be thinking about doing, or think that travel centers should consider? Did that make sense? That was a long-winded question. I apologize.
Yeah, it was. I think if you really look at it, you're going to have to figure out how to streamline and make it really fast and really efficient. You watch a truck pull off the fuel aisle, and it might take him a couple of minutes by the time he gets set on the seat and gets his truck started and rolls up, and making sure he's not going to hit the pumps or anything. You'd have to make that turnover very, very rapidly to keep trucks moving, because a driver, because of ELD, they're on the clock. So we've seen a decline in our sit-down restaurant at lunchtime, where normally we would be very busy, but because of ELD, they can't log themselves out for lunch and then log themselves back in. They're on the clock and they got to get to where they're going. So I think you'd really have to figure out to make it extremely, extremely fast to be able to get those types of things.
Gotcha. Good point.
And I think in order to do that, you'd have to build smaller stores than what, like a store our size, because we're huge, so stuff spread out everywhere. So you'd have to make it a little bit more compact to be able to service them a lot faster.
That's a very interesting point, Dale, and it's spot on to what you may or may not have seen in the industry. A lot of the new entries into our market are much smaller operations and often have limited parking, but their stores are very, very compact, and they're really built on speed. You're exactly right what you've referenced. They're all about speed, and that's their key focus. Get those trucks in, get them out really, really super fast. It's kind of like the speed has become the new currency of our industry, where it may in the future even offset the cost of fuel to some companies where they're looking at stopping place A, it takes them X amount of time to fuel versus stopping at another place where it's significantly less time.
Yeah. All right. You ready for our wacky questions?
Sure.
We're going to end with the fun ones. This is our episode we call Fast Fill, and they're just fun. Okay, what's your go-to on-the-road snack?
Hot dog.
Hot dog. Okay, if you're stuck at a truck stop in a snowstorm, how do you pass the time?
Probably playing on my phone like most everybody else does.
Do you like to ride or do you like to drive?
Drive.
Drive, okay. How do you take your truck stop coffee?
Actually, I don't drink coffee.
Wow, we get a lot of those.
Yeah, we do.
Okay, and this is the last one. It's controversial. Is it truck stop, travel center, or travel plaza?
Travel center.
Travel center.
All right. So Dale, again, thank you so very much for taking the time. I hope that we're going to have the opportunity to have you back on as we do future podcasts, and appreciate you very much and looking forward to seeing you in Denver.
Yes, I will see you on dinner. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
All right, bye.
The Truck Stops Here was brought to you by NATSO, the association representing truck stops and travel centers. Visit natso.com for more information. The Truck Stops Here is produced by NATSO in collaboration with Human Factor. Producers are Amy Toner and Darren Schulte.